Good morning, everybody. My name is Jody. My husband David John and I have a small farm in the panhandle of North Idaho. These are our stories and adventures, so welcome to Moose Flats Farm. And today is Sunday. It is one of our market days, but first I want to show you part of the reason I love this time of year, and then we'll go out and check out the market. So this time of year, the patio gets turned into an outdoor living room. All the houseplants get to come out, get some fresh air, and they just really makes them go amazing. But the cool thing is, you remember how that was a hole? David John has made it into a gate. So it's easy to get out there to water. And on another video that I posted just a couple weeks ago, I was showing you how the water lily is starting to bloom, or is going to have blooms on it. They are starting to open. So cool. So let's take a walk out front and check out the marketplace. Grab my tripod. Hi, honey.
Hi.
So, out here we have our little evergreens, a couple raspberry starts, a selection of the peppers and the tomatoes in the back. And like I was saying, typically it's not this warm, but got couple Adirondack chairs, the little artwork, the bags, some saw stuff, some of my preserves. Get you guys out of the direct sun. Some jewelry David John has collected. The little bird houses that he's made and the ones I've painted. Some garden items on the wagon itself. And a lot of this stuff is just stuff we've collected for this purpose. So let's go out and check on the baby chicks. We did let them out last Sunday. It was very anticlimactic. It took me half the day of shooing them to get them out. But they started way over there, and about every other day we are having to move them. But they're getting big and doing really good. And my little free chick, let's see if I can get you where you can see them. So, while David John's manning the farm stand in from here, I can see the driveway, and we've got the walkie-talkies in case he needs me down there. We're going to go through and get our corn planted. Typically in our area, you really don't plant until after Memorial Day, but like I said, we've had this complete break in the weather, and it's been in the 80s, high 80s for the last like 2 weeks. So gonna just chance it that the weather's gonna stay warm So let's go through the method of getting corn planted. Okay, so when you're planting corn, don't be tempted like I have in the past and planted it way too close together. You really don't get any corn off your corn stalks, or if you do, they're really puny. And yeah, not sure what's going on. My camera keeps turning off and it shouldn't be overheating yet. But it's a really good idea to go through and pre-soak your corn overnight. It just helps speed up germination. So we're going to be planting the little strawberry popcorn, which it's a little red ear corn. The mini Indian corn, it's just a shorter variety that's multicolored. The double sweet corn, and we're going to do some of the broom corn in here. And it's one of those, I'm hoping I got enough seeds pre-soaked and don't have a whole bunch that's going to be wasted. So let's get in here and get these guys planted. And I will be adding some sunflowers in amongst this stuff. So, and we're going to do it where we'll have the double sweet at the back because it is the tallest, and then go to the mini Indian, and then the strawberry, and then the broom corn at this end. And once this stuff has grown up, I will be going through and putting shavings down as weed suppression on it. So that gets all the corn planted. I do have a few leftover seeds, and I didn't get any of the broom corn planted in here. We'll have to figure out where to stick it, but I'm gonna plop some sunflower seeds in here, and where are they at? I'm gonna be putting in some solar eclipse, which is a 4 to 5 foot height, ruby eclipse, which is a 5 to 6, Stella is a 4 to 5, and then the Topolino is a 2 foot one. So this one I'm going to put at the very front of it. The other ones I'm just going to kind of stagger with the, what was the one that got the highest? With the ruby eclipse, I'm going to have towards the back just because it's going to be the tallest. I know it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to go through, pop some of these guys and get them watered and show you what else I've been doing and gotten done in the garden. So as the oscillator goes through and gets this guy watered in, it will free up my time to move on. But my little bonus patch of raspberries, got them tied up here, and I have gone through on 5 of the beds. Got them weeded and the cattle panels put up. So watch out, yellow jacket. I've been kind of going back and forth. I will do a food project and then something pretty, and then go and do a food project and reward myself with a pretty project. But in the bed that you guys are kind of standing in, got last year I started milkweed from seed. And okay guys, it's a couple days later and I was editing the video and realized that the camera had shut off, and I was talking about the milkweed that I'd planted last year, and it hadn't really done anything last year. I actually thought it died, but it has come back. Almost weeded it out. Glad I didn't. But got a clump there, there, and then over here, the echinacea on the 2 corners came back, and look how well that climbing rose has come back. So just have to get the dead pruned out of it. I am still going to be planting the Malabar spinach on here. I'm going to plant it on the back side once I get this cleaned out. But the cattle panel trellises are just really simply put up there. I've got the 2 T-posts, about, because these are 12-foot panels, about 2 feet in on each side, and then just a rebar stake in the middle just to keep them from bowing. And over here I have offset them. So there's only like a 4-foot overlap right here where the tomatoes will technically kind of shade each other. But that might be a benefit for them, because even though this area does get some shade in the afternoon, but in this bed, I've got to get all the forsythia dug up and figure exactly where I want it before I can get it planted. And like I said, I've done pretties and food, but up here on the front of the seed shed, I've got my Minnesota midgets. It was about 50-50 germination on them, but I think there's going to be plenty to go. And in the middle here, I planted Morning Glory, and only got 2 seeds to go. And it looks like that Minnesota midget pot I need to replant. And then over here, I've got my vine peach and more of the Morning Glory and vine peach there. So wasn't really happy with the germination rate that I got on them. So I do have more of those seeds soaking, and this afternoon I'll get over here and get them replanted. But on the window boxes in front of, or on the side of the seed shed, I've added the trailing petunias, the geraniums, and the dark purple potato vine. Strawberry bed's just taking off amazing. And this bed here I have cleaned up and have started to add a layer of compost. Have to get some more in there. The perennial shade bed is looking really good. All these massive pansies just make me happy. The ranger russets out here are starting to poke their heads through. Have to go through and do a little weeding. But because of the heat, as you see on this purple sprouting, the broccoli is starting to bolt. The cabbages look okay still, and so do the cauliflowers. But have to get out here before they get too far gone and get my broccoli heads picked. But I do have cauliflower, and I did the other day when it was kind of a cool drizzly morning, go through and get the blackberries and everything. Some of them look a little stressed, but sorry about that sunshot, but hopefully they'll come back up from the roots. And then the window boxes on the chicken coop, show you them. So I got the perennial sunflowers cleaned up, the hollyhock kind of cleaned up, and then in here the petunias, and that geranium is struggling a little bit with the transplant and the heat. These ones over here look pretty good. The petunias are loving the heat. And I pulled a plug of perennial sunflower and planted it here. And down in there, you guys can see down in there, got a bunch of cosmos and zinnia seeds coming up. I just sprinkled them down in there and covered it with some composted shavings. And the grape, have to get out here and get the dead cleaned out of it. So that's kind of the back and forth of what I've been doing is food, flowers, and so the next thing I need to get going is getting the old tomatoes off those trellises and getting some compost on these beds, because I've got my runner beans pre-soaking, because beans are another thing that it's really good to pre-soak, so that way they germinate a little faster. And get the compost on these beds, get it kind of, I don't even think I'm going to mix it in. I think I'm just going to top dress the beds, and then we can get the green or the runner beans planted. So we're going to be planting two different types of beans on the trellises. For the most part, it's going to be the runner beans. I've got the scarlet runner bean, which is all red one. I have the sunset, which is a soft pink. And then, what's the other one? The other one is Painted Lady, and she's got a pink throat with red top petals. So it's going to be pink, and then go to the pink and red, and then solid red. And it's interesting because that is a scarlet runner bean seed, or a runner bean seed, and that is a purple pole bean. And size-wise, see if I can get it up so you guys can see. Hopefully you can see that. Size-wise, the runner bean is almost twice as big. And they both get planted at 1 inch deep. So I'm going to go through and get the rest of these planted so I can get them watered in. So what I've done after the compost, I've put the compost shavings down, is I did remove and make kind of a trough here. And I'll just place my bean seeds. These ones I don't have a ton in the two packages I got. So we'll start at every other upright on the cattle panel and see where that gets us. And then just go back with a couple extra and plant them a little heavier in the middle. And then I'll just pull my compost back over the top of them. Trying to make sure I get at least that 1 inch of coverage on them. Oh, gonna lose my label. That looks good. And on the royal purple, and I only soaked enough for one side. Gonna have to get some more. I am just going to be covering it with some potting mix as opposed to compost, because I do have the Huckleberry Gold potatoes in here. It is a bit of risk planting the green beans here because I may disturb them a little bit when I'm pulling the potatoes out, but I think as long as I'm being careful, I should be fine. And I did have enough, I just have to make another label. And I did in the 3 flower pots along here. Even though last year I said I was going to take them out of here, but I think part of that was because they wound up being right at the pinch point where the cattle panels are. With the cattle panels out of here, there's a lot more space. So that is where I planted the broom corn. I did do 3 per pot. Might be a little tight on that, but that one is more for just a decoration. So got to go through, get these guys watered, do some little hand watering. So this is where I'm going to end today's adventure. I hope you have a good day and a good week, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll be back with our next adventure soon. Bye guys.